guys, welcome back to the channel, and yeah, happy new year. It's the 5th of January 2026 as I record this, and if you've noticed recently, I've been trying to do weekly vlogs, just video vlogs. That's what a vlog is. Just basically weekly updates, me just driving, me just chatting, just general stuff, just to keep content onto the channel on a regular basis. Because this time of year, it's cold. I mean, it's been down to -3. You know, a lot of places in the country have had snow. I had a little bit in the night, but it had gone by the morning. There is meant to be a load of snow coming tomorrow. But today's video is all about me working on Orwin. Now, I don't know if I told you about it, but I did have a bit of a coolant leak on Orwin not too long ago. And a couple of days ago, what day was it? Friday? Yeah, I were off Friday. It's Monday today. I had a little look at the leak, and I thought it was one of the coolant pipes that runs to the heater matrix. And I thought it was that pipe that was leaking. So I loosened it off, I took it off, and I wanted to check if it was split or anything around the end, and it wasn't. It actually looked perfect. So I'm like, okay, it's not the pipe that's at fault then. So I put it back on, tightened it back up. I did notice that the Jubilee clip was in a stupid position, and it was virtually impossible to loosen it off. It took me ages from underneath the car and from above the car, and just try to get anything onto it to be able to loosen it. But long story short, I got it loosened, I got it off. When I've then put it back on, I've twisted the Jubilee clip around the other way so that it's a lot easier to reach and a lot easier to get to. So then I thought, well, maybe I've fixed it. Started the engine up, you know, got it warm, obviously topped the coolant up beforehand, ran it up to temperature, got the fans kicking in, still leaking. Put my hand down the back and I'm thinking, it's still leaking, but it's all around where that pipe goes into this plastic pipe along the back. So, yeah, so then I got my phone, put it on video with the touch, put it down the back of the engine so I could see where it was leaking from. And yeah, I found this. Yeah, so as you can see, the plastic pipe itself has split. So it's got these mould lines around the plastic pipe, and it's obviously split along one of the moulding lines, and it's just peeing fluid out. So luckily, from back in 2004, when I had my Vauxhall Calibra, that had the same 2-litre 8-valve engine, although it was the NE, not the SEH. That's the 115 horsepower rather than the 130. And that's got the same plastic pipe. Now, that old engine, before I scrapped it because it's seized, I kept the cylinder head, I kept all the ancillaries, alternator, all the bits off it to keep as spares, including the plastic pipe that goes along the back. So luckily, I have got a replacement plastic pipe. So in this video today, I'm going to show you me fitting the new plastic pipe. So yeah, stay tuned. Right then guys, here I am outside. It's frigging freezing. I don't know what temperature it is now. I think it's about -1, but my hands are feeling a bit chilly. I'm just going in the garage. Here is the Mk2 Cav and the Nova hidden down in the back. And here is the new bit of pipe. So let me just squeeze out and I shall show it you. So here we go. So it goes on the engine that way up, like that. And the bit where it's leaking is around there where my finger is there. That's about where it's leaking, just there. So it's only held on with two 13mm bolts at the bottom. And then there's obviously the 5 pipes, isn't there? Because there's either end of the pipe plus the 3 that go into it that I've just got to get to. So let's go and have a look at the car. Okay, so you'll notice as well the Chimaera is here. One thing I've noticed is a little bit of a design fault on the Chimaera. When it's cold, you can't open the door because the push buttons get completely frozen. Luckily, I'd already left the bonnet unlatched. So as you can see, I mentioned in my previous videos about charging the battery. Now luckily this has got this charging port which links directly to the battery, so I've just got the battery charger on, try to get some charge into it. I think the battery's definitely knackered, so but I'm just trying to get some charge into it so I can start it up. I have actually borrowed the battery booster from work, so but I just thought I'll try and charge it for a little bit. But anyway, back to Orwin. So the reason I've jacked him up is because a couple of the pipes are a little bit difficult to get to, so I thought, well, if I jack him up, it means I can go under the car if I have to. Plus, jacking him up brings the car higher, which means I'm not having to bend over as much and bend me back as much. So anyways, so the first two pipes are just down inside there. I've already loosened off those two Jubilee clips. The other one is here on this end. That's the big one, which I've loosened off. And then the other couple are the ones that are a bit tricky to get to, so as I say, I might go under the car to get to them. So they're all a 6mm, so I'm just using this 6mm. And in order to get down through the middle, I used this extension with a universal joint. Not a universal joint, you know what I mean. Forgot what they call them. Is it a universal joint? I forgot the name now. Just so I could get down inside. But it was that one down there which were a right pain, because the Jubilee clip was right hidden underneath this bit of the manifold, and it was right difficult to get to. I don't know how on earth it had been tightened up last time it was tightened up, but as you can see, the coolant is nearly empty. I've not even drained anything out yet. That's just how it was this morning. So I've come to him this morning and he's got no coolant in him because it's all drained out through that pipe. While I'm at it, I'm also going to put some sealant in around this as well, because you can see it's obviously been leaking coolant out around the thermostat housing. I did have it off the other week, and when I've put it back on, it's obviously not sealed very well, so I'm going to reseal that. I've got some instant gasket which I'll use to seal that while I'm at it. While the cooling system is drained, makes sense to do that as well. So right, let's see how I get on with these other two pipes. Right then guys, so I've got the pipe off. There we go, just comparing old v new just to see if there's any difference, but they do look the same as each other, so it should be compatible. Looks to be the same. The new one's actually got another little tab on there where the one off Orwin's actually snapped off, so I don't know what that was for, but it's a genuine GM part, so it should be fine. But looking at the old one where the leak was, I've cleaned it off and you can just make out on the camera the tiniest of hairline fractures, and it's not actually on the joint line. It's actually just above, and you can see it comes from there right across to about there. This sticky tape, by the way, this is where I tried to do a temporary fix, and I put some strong sticky tape around, but unfortunately it didn't do the job well enough. That's the remnants of it. It's stuck on really, really well at the back, so it's really gluey and really sticky, but it didn't stick on very well this side because obviously it was chucking coolant out. But I'm just looking at the new one. The new one, I'm saying new, it's still old, but it looks alright, the new one. But yeah, this old one, you can just make it out across there very, very faintly. So that's where it was leaking from. So there you go. So I'm going to get the new one on and do the sealant round the thermostat, and then get the coolant back in the system, and then do what I need to do. Get it warmed up, get it tested, and hopefully it'll not be leaking anymore. Right then guys, so we're getting there. So the new pipe is on. As I say, it's just got two 13mm bill bolts, one there, one underneath the third pipe. That big one runs from the radiator. They're all 6mm Jubilee clips. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them all together. So I'm just going to show you this tool that I'm using, which makes it so much easier. So I've just tightened up the last Jubilee clip, and it's really difficult to get to these. They're really awkward. So what I'm doing is using this. So I've got the extension bar, the universal joint, and then I've got an adapter to take it down to the smaller size. Obviously that's only because I'm using what I'm using, and that enables me to reach down there onto the Jubilee clips. And as I said earlier, that Jubilee clip there, the one on the right as we're looking at it, was on the other side of the pipe and at a funny angle, and it was so difficult to get to the other day. It was a right pain in the backside to get to. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to double check the tightness of the one down there. You can just see it's shining in the light. That's the one that's easier to get to from underneath the car. You can get to it from around the back of the engine, but you can just kind of get onto it a bit easier from underneath. So I'm just going to make sure that one's tight. The other ones are all tight, and then I'm going to just do the sealant on the thermostat. So that's what I'm going to do next. Once that's done, top it up and we'll start him up and see what's what. One thing I would advise as well is disconnect the battery, because when you're going down to the bolts down the back of here, you have got the wires running to the alternator and the wires running to the starter motor and stuff. So just to avoid any kind of shocks or sparks or anything, I always just disconnect the battery just for safety. Probably don't really need to, but you know, just erring on the side of caution. While I'm under here, you can see some of my brilliant repairs from the past, which yeah, they're solid, they're functional, they do the job, but yeah, not exactly restoration quality, but it does the job, it does the job. Right, let's crack on. Right then guys, so I've got the thermostat out. Now, some of you guys might remember a while ago I was complaining that the heater wasn't working very well in the car, and I suspected that the thermostat was stuck open, but I forgot to mention that I had checked it, and that's why it's leaking now, because I'd had it off before, and the thermostat is actually closed the way that it's meant to be closed when the engine's cold. So yeah, so either this thermostat is a cold running thermostat and it opens too soon, which is why the engine don't get as hot as it should, or there's something wrong with the heater matrix. So I'm not sure, but anyway, I've just been drying it off ready to seal it. So it does have this rubber seal, but it's a bit old and crappy, so probably could do with a new thermostat anyway and get a new seal to go in it. I've just got a rag in here just to dry up the coolant that keeps running out, just so that I've got a nice dry mating surface for the gasket sealer to seal against, because obviously if it's wet it's not going to work very well. So that's why I've just shoved that rag in there for now, just to dry it. And then the sealant, which is in my pocket when I can get it, just using this high temp black RTV silicone gasket maker, 100% silicone, but it's resists oil, water and antifreeze, safe for all models it says, so it should do the job. So that's what I'm going to use. Just put a thin bead around the thermostat, around the rubber seal, and then that should hopefully stop it leaking. So as it's obviously been leaking under pressure, because you can see all the remnants of it. So that's the next little job, and then we'll get it topped up, engine started, and bleed the system. The system's actually self-bleeding on this. It's brilliant. You don't have to do any kind of bleeding whatsoever, because it just bleeds itself. It's a great system, to be fair. So yeah, let's crack on. Right then guys, we're all done, all sorted. So I've had him run up to temperature, he's nice and warm. I've not had him run up to the point where the fan kicks in, but as I said, today it's about it was -3 this morning. I think it's currently around about freezing. I know my pond on back garden is about 5 centimetres thick ice. I've just been round the back of the house just between videos, and I've just hit it with my £5 lump hammer, and it just kind of cracked, and you could see then how thick it were. And honestly, it's about that thick, nearly 2 inches thick. It's that's an idea of how cold it is today. So yeah, it's not got warm enough to get up to temperature to put the fan on, but it's nice and warm. This sealant that I've put around this, you're actually supposed to not get fluids back in it until it's had time to cure over 24 hours, but I ain't got time to do that because I've got to get to work in it tomorrow. So you know, because of the Chimaera having the flat battery, I'm using Orwin every day again until I've sorted a new battery for the TVR. Obviously it's meant to be snowing tomorrow anyway, so I don't want to be going to work in the TVR in the snow. That would be fun, but probably not a good idea if it does snow. So that's why I needed to get this done today. But yeah, I've had it run up to temperature and there's no leaks. There's no leaks from any pipes. Nothing's leaking, and the fluid levels seems to be holding itself well. Now I had to let it bleed, but yeah, the system's really clever, because I say you've got that pipe there that comes out the top of there that lets it bleed. You've got the pipe at the top of the radiator there that lets it bleed back into there. So it's a self-bleeding system. You don't have to do anything to bleed it. Like on the old Novas, I always remember you used to have to take the temperature sensor out and then top the engine up, and it would bleed the air out through the temperature sensor. But on this engine, you don't have to do it because it just self bleeds through all these other pipes. So there's no bleeding required. You just have to get it warm enough so that the thermostat opens, because then once the thermostat opens, it then starts dumping fluid back through into the radiator, and then the fluid level in the expansion tank drops really quickly because you've got fluid suddenly running through into the radiator, and then you just need to keep it topped up. So what I do, I run it for several minutes with the cap off the expansion tank so that it can go through, run the engine at quite a high RPM, you know, around about 2000 RPM, 2500 RPM, something like that, which I did off camera. And then it pumps the fluid through, the coolant through. That drops quite rapidly, like I said, so you just keep topping it up, keep topping it up, keep topping it up. And then what I'll do, I'll go and get myself cleaned up. I'm pretty clean actually, because I've kept washing my hands so I can do the videos, but I'll go and get cleaned up, get a shower and whatever, and then I'll take him for a run, because I need to go and do some food shopping. So I'll go and take him for a run and check on the coolant level when I get back after a drive. It's only about 3 miles to the supermarket, 3 mile back, so obviously about 6 miles. Don't have to be good at maths to work that one out. And I'll see if it needs any extra top-ups, if there's any extra air in the system that's come through on the journey. Top it up and take it from there. Now if the coolant level continues to keep going down, then I know there's still another issue. Now I did say ages ago that I was suspecting head gasket, but it's been fine since. You know, I was suspecting it was losing fluid, because at one point there was definitely oil mixing with the coolant because I was getting a brown sludge, but it's not doing it anymore. That's the weird thing with Orwin. I don't understand him. I don't understand this engine, because I was getting brown sludge in the coolant like head gasket because oil was mixing with it, but it's not doing it anymore, and the coolant is staying clean. So I don't know how that's possible, but if he does continue to lose coolant, then I know there must be some other kind of leak. Now here's a little thing. I do suspect that the heater matrix might possibly be leaking, because I've noticed in the driver's footwell I keep getting a bit of a damp carpet. Now I suspected it was just rain getting in somewhere. You know, it's an old car, it might have got the odd little leak here and there, but I think it is actually coolant that's getting into the driver's footwell, which makes me think that the heater matrix might be leaking a little bit. So that's the next thing to investigate. So anyway guys, the test drive video and the final result will be in the next video. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time. Please like, browse, subscribe. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. It's much appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.